Hey guys, welcome back. So today I thought we'd take a little look at how we tie my leader for fishing solid bags. As you can see, an example one here, one I previously tied. It's a Leadcore leader. Well, it's actually leadless Leadcore, which makes it super supple. Still sinks really well, but yeah, really supple, which is nice. As you can see there, it's on an inline lead, but fished the drop-off style, and just a perfect little rig there at the end to fit inside. So today we're just gonna have a little look at the leader, but we can come back and revisit the rig at a later date. But yeah, let's just jump straight in. So to tie this rig, you're gonna need a few things. One of them is some Leadcore, or some leadless Leadcore in this case. This one is in 45 pound and it's like a khaki dark camo sort of pattern, which is absolutely brilliant. You're gonna need a splicing needle, and this isn't just any splicing needle. This is the Fox Easy Splice needle, and this one is absolutely essential. I've tried loads of different ones over the years, but this one by far has been the best one. So you're gonna need a lead, and that's an inline lead. You're gonna need a pullator of some sort. This part is essential as well. So this is the double ring swivel. So you don't see many people using these days, but yeah, the double ring swivel is amazing. You're gonna need a towel rubber and some sharp scissors. So to begin with, we're just gonna take a length of this Leadcore, and we're gonna pull off just a little bit to begin with, and we're gonna leave it on the spool. So I like to have my leaders spliced quite a long way. I'll show you the example one again. On here, you can see the loop is there at the end, tiny little loop, but it's spliced all the way to here. So that's at least 2 inches of splicing, maybe a little bit more. And that just makes sure that it's absolutely rock solid and never gonna come loose. I used to fish pre-tied Leadcore leaders years ago, and on multiple occasions, especially if they're old leaders and they've been on the rods for a while, when the material sort of dries out, because they're only spliced an inch or so, I've had instances when it's actually the loops come undone, and it's frustrated me beyond belief. So I decided from that moment on, I'm never gonna buy a Leadcore leader again. I'm always gonna make my own. So yeah, so let's get into it. So we're gonna take our length of material, and what I like to do is use this as a gauge. As you can see, the wire is a little bit bent up at the moment, but that's absolutely fine. So basically I just pinch the Leadcore against the side of it, and I'm gonna go 2 lengths of this. So I'm gonna go 1 length there, and I'm gonna go a 2nd length there. And that's because you've got to double back on yourself. So now we've done double length, I'm just gonna add just the amount for a loop extra, and that's it. So essentially there we've got almost the length of my hand, and then all I'm gonna do is use the pointy end on the little Fox pullator, and I'm just gonna make a little indent inside the leader. So this is a fiddly job. It's never gonna be something that's super easy to do, and it might take you a few attempts to sort of get used to doing it, but once you've done it a few times, you'll know that it's easy enough to do. So now you're gonna thread your splicing needle through the leader. This can be a bit fiddly, and sometimes the leader will open up and your tool will come out the side, but that's absolutely fine because you can just go back in and carry on. So we're gonna just thread it down and making sure to cover the whole needle. There we go. So as you can see there, it's enough to double back on itself and create a loop at the end. So now all we're gonna do is just pierce through the side of the Leadcore. So we're coming out there, and on this end here, this is where we add our double ringed swivel. So I'm not gonna attach it by the barrel side. I'm gonna attach it to one of the rings. So let's take one of our loops, thread it down the tag end, as you can see that. There we go. And now we do is just open up our splicing needle, which is basically just a coiled piece of wire. Mine has closed up a little bit over the years because I've had it since they first came out. There we go. So you just need to poke the tag end through, just about 1 mil or 2 mil through, and then pull it up to lock it in place at the very end. That's it, just like that. So as you can see there, it's just a tag end through. And now what I like to do is just wet the needle there ever so slightly. So just wet the needle and wet the material. And now the way I like to put it through is to twist it round so the material is going in the side facing the loop, as if it's making a closed loop, like a P shape like that. If you do it the other way around, sometimes it can kick out and then you lose the tag end. So that's just the way I like to do it. Push it up and over like this, and just keep working the material until it pops through. And one little tip that I've found is if you put your finger in the loop and pull slightly, so you're pulling, one is the tag end and one is there, that's going to help straighten out that kinked material, and it just pops over that loop there, see? And then you can just pull a little bit and then just keep easing it down, and it comes through nice and easy like that, making sure not to trap your finger. So now we're all the way through. We're going to keep going. We're going to close that material right up until it makes a tight connection. There we go. So it makes a tight connection to our loop. And as you can see, it's roughed up a little bit. And what we need to do is just pull back against it with our fingers. All I do is just like that and just work the material down until there's no loose areas inside at all. So you've got maximum friction and maximum connection between both sections of the splice material. And you can just see it's perfectly spliced there. You can give a really good pull and that is going absolutely nowhere. And since I've started splicing like this, I've never once ever had one come undone and I've never ever broken a leader. So that's really saying something. Snip off the tag end, tighten everything up, and that is a perfect spliced end there. Now all we need to do is just gauge how long we want the leader, do the same thing the other end by measuring 2 lengths of this. So I'm going to pull off about just under 2 foot, snip that off there. We're going to go for the measuring tool again, go 1 length, 2 lengths, and then a little bit extra. Use our pointy tool to just open that back up again. Don't worry about damaging the material too much. Oh, as you can see there, the needle came right through. As an example, that is a good one to show you because it doesn't matter because it's a woven material. So essentially when you put pressure back on it, it's going to tighten those strands back up. So you're not going to damage that material at all. And you can see there, it's basically just closed back up. So all I need to do is just push that needle back through. There we go. Make sure we thread it down, same as before. So there we go, just thread it down the needle, same as before, until it covers the needle. You've got just enough material to come back on yourself. There we go. This time we're not attaching anything at all, so we want to allow a little bit of extra room. So I'm just going to work out, yeah, we've got a little bit less material than last time, so I'm going to just allow a little bit to come back off of the needle, just so I've got a loop there at the end. And this is essentially where we're going to be tying our main line. There we go, pop it through the side of the splicing needle. And the beautiful thing about this tool is that there is absolutely 0 sharp edges. It's not like a gated needle or anything like that. So you haven't got to worry about if you pierce through the side of the material, you've got to try and close that gate and get it back through. And it's a super fiddly. I've had all sorts of issues like that in the past. And it's absolutely time consuming and a waste of energy and material. So there we go, thread that back through the side of the splicer tool. Make sure you wet everything down again. Turn that in on itself again to create our letter P. Give it a little pull, finger in the loop, and then work everything down over the top. Pull everything down until you've pulled that back through. Remove your finger. And then on this splicing tool, you've got a slightly wider pointed section. And I like to use that to create my loop at the end. So again, I'll just work the material down completely until it closes that gap completely between the metal and the leader. And you can see there it's completely shut around the end. And then again, we just work that material back against itself just to make sure there's no loops or any little air pockets or anything. No loose material. Give it a really good pull, and that's going to make sure everything bites down really, really hard against itself. And that's fantastic. And then all we do is just use our sharp scissors again, cut off that tag end, and then we just take our loop off of the end of the tool. And as you can see there, that is an absolute perfect little loop for tying our main line. And again, that's spliced about 2 inches or more, and we've got a perfect little leader there. So if I was tying this for a lead clip, then instead of the double ring swivel to begin with, I would splice on a QC or a quick chain swivel. And then afterwards, after I've tied my loop here, you could just thread on a lead clip and a tail rubber, and that's perfect, ready to go. Also, if I was trying to tie a leader for a helicopter system, then all you need to do is just attach a clip one end, or you can use like the drop-off systems and just splice that end first, add everything after, and then you can add your beads, just slide it straight down the leader like you would normally. All that's left to do is to attach our lead to this system. And as mentioned before, this is for a drop-off system. So what we have to do is, first of all, we put on our tail rubber, this end first, so it goes through the wide end and then it exits from the pointy end. So let's use our splicing tool to do that. Put it through the tool, open the tool up, pull it down and through. There we go, so that's our tail rubber on the material. So now to attach our lead to the leader, we just take the barrel end of our swivel, just push it loosely into the bottom of the lead. You can push it all the way in if you like, but I like to make sure that I'm dropping the lead. So that goes in there, and then all you need to do is just find out which side the spare ring swivel is so you don't trap it. So as you can see, it's here, just at the bottom now. So I'm just gonna pull the leader flat against the side of the lead here and trap it in place with the tail rubber. If you wet this just before, then that's going to be nice and loose as well. So it will make sure that it does drop the lead completely. And as you can see there, the leader runs right around the outside of the lead and It doesn't get in the way at all. So this is absolutely perfect for solid bags because you can still drop the lead, and all you need to do is attach your rig to this ring here, the spare ring. And that way you know if you get a take and it does come into a bit of problem, it just has to pull a little bit like that and then a little bit of a shake and the lead's gonna come off. So you're fishing very safe, and especially if you're fishing solid bags into weed, this is absolutely a game changer because you can still drop that lead, the fish is going to come up in the water and you're going to be able to play that fish out safely. There we go. And it's important with any leaders and Leadcore and anything like that, that you have nothing attached up this end that's going to stop any of the tail rubber or anything coming off the leader. If you're fishing leg clips or helicopter systems, no beads, no anything that's fixed to the line up this end. So if the line breaks, the fish can discard the lead like this, or it can slide off completely and you're going to be fishing completely safe. So this end here, all I do is just tie a big figure of 8 loop in my main line and then just loop to loop this on. And that's absolutely perfect. And that's going to suit my fishing style absolutely perfectly. And hopefully that's going to help you guys out a little bit. So there we go, that's the perfect little leader for tying up loads of solid bags in advance. Before your session, you can just tie a bunch of these leaders up, do like I do and lead them in the box. I've got a little Ridge Monkey setup that I like to use for my solid bag fishing. One side's got my pellets in and one side's got my rigging essentials and some hook baits. And that's all you need, a few of these tied up in advance, and then you can just pre-prepare a few solid bags before your session, get to your spots, get your rods clipped up and you're on the spot straight away. There we go guys, hopefully you took something from that, hopefully you can use it in your own fishing. If you do, let me know. Hopefully you're going to subscribe and hit that bell for regular updates from me. If you've got any questions, make sure you drop them in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. See you on the next one.